meteorologist Chase Jones.
Well, last night's storm stuck around till early this morning, but that West Texas sun is just so powerful that it definitely burned off a lot of that cloud cover. And now we're dealing with those post-frontal conditions. Under these clear skies, we're going to drop all the way back down into those 30s, but it's looking like a beautiful weekend before we make the recharge up back into those lower 80s. Now, looking at the temperature change over the last 24 hours, really getting down into those lower 50s. And then we made a good 11-degree run up into those 60s, and we're hanging out right now in those mid-60s. And so is everybody else, but colder air definitely on its way in from the west. 65 in San Angelo. Everybody else joining us in a combination of those mid to lower 50s or 60s across the entire Concho Valley. 61 in Sterling City, 68 down there in Junction, looking like 7 degrees across the entire Concho Valley, unless you make your way all the way off to the east where they're holding on to some of those 50s right now. So pretty much 10 degrees across from west to east, but those humidity values are definitely way down there in those 30s and those 40s. If not looking at Big Lake, way down there at the 24-degree mark and that 24%. But off towards the east, pushing up towards those 50s. That includes those humidity indices near that is 80% mark. But of course, a lot of that rain shower activity is finally done. When we look at the water vapor imagery, take a good look at this winter storm taking action right there at Kansas and Nebraska, while they're still dealing with about 4 more feet of snow in the Rocky Mountains. And they have record-setting snow for the next 3 days while this system interacts with what is now Hurricane Rafael in the Gulf Coast. When we look at the moisture tracker, I move out of the way, so we see this cold front pushing off towards the east, but you see it fighting back and forth with those concentrations of orange, and right behind it, another strong circulation. But it's not going to be making its way into the Concho Valley. When we look at the severe weather outlook, has pushed off towards East Texas, and the same goes for the sort of tornado probability. Still seeing a lot of those favorable conditions as it pushes off towards the east. Still dealing with a tornado watch box right now across the entire area of the I-35 corridor and Dallas. But here in the Concho Valley, nothing but clear skies. We talk about Rafael because it's a pretty interesting pattern, debating whether or not to show you this trajectory because it's just all over the place. We'll see it become a Category 2 right now, then it becomes a tropical storm, then it becomes post-tropical somewhere around Tuesday, and we'll see how much moisture makes its way up into the Concho Valley. Right now, sea surface temperatures are somewhere around those 80s and those 90s, and we'll see how much they drop by tonight. But of course, a lot of hurricane fuel stuff still left for this system to sort of work with. But that colder air definitely going to push it out of the way. Now, only a couple hours to go until kickoff, and things are looking beautiful. But make sure you keep the extra layer close because it's going to get pretty chilly tonight. We continue to deal with these clear skies well into that sort of Veterans Day parade and this weekend, where we're going to see ourselves touch back up into those mid-70s. But we're watching this cold front really just sort of take aim at Louisiana, pulling all that moisture from Rafael up into the coastal region. So tonight, dropping back down into those 30s. So make sure you have that coat close by. Then Griff Scott inside the game. Then tomorrow, a good run at those lower 70s. Perfect parade weather. Then we continue to warm up as we make our way closer towards Veterans Day. Around Tuesday, we get all the way back up into those 80s. But take a good look as we make our way sort of near Halloween. Thanksgiving, only a couple weeks away. We're going to see those temperatures drop another 10 degrees all the way back down into those 70s. So we're fighting back and forth between those 80s and those 70s, while those overnight lows are fighting with those 40s and those 50s. Stay tuned. I'll won't for the break. You're watching KSAN News at 5.